Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Nandan Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana 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 Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Brahmams Parivraj Jagacharya Stutra Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Granthaj Srimad Bhagavat Puran Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi All glorious assembled devotees All glorious assembled devotees All glorious assembled devotees All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hare Krishna Jai
Hare Krishna. So we are very honored and happy that we have with us His Grace Dwarakadhish Prabhu. So Dwarakadhish Prabhu is MD in medicine from Mumbai University. He is head of the department and also founder, member and trustee of Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mumbai. He began his journey as a teenager way back in 1982. Later on, he received first initiation in 1986. And then he got married in 1990 with Vishaka Priya Mataji. So both of them were the first couples of ISKCON Chopati. And since 1992, both of them have been rendering valuable service of developing Shri Radha Gopinath community there. They have been senior spiritual counselors for devotees. They are very famous for their dramas. Every year they do many beautiful dramas. And Prabhuji, in spite of his hectic schedules, every Thursday, once a week, he's always there dressing Radha Gopinath. So both of them have been instrumental in training and guiding thousands of devotees. Both of them also do premarital counseling and being actually under the instructions of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. They also have been guiding devotees around the world. They every year travel to America, Mauritius, Bahrain. They also every year come to Calcutta. So we are very honored to get the recitation. So Prabhu is here today and tomorrow also. So let us welcome His Grace Dwarakadhish Prabhu and Vishaka Mataji by loudly chanting 3 times. Haribo! Haribo!
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I think this is chapter 79, right? Chapter 79. Yes. Text 16. No, 24. Okay. 624. Yeah, the last verse. Yudhishthiraha tu drishtva. Sorry. Tam drishtva yamau krishnarjunau api abhivadya abhavan tushnim kim vivakshuhu iha agata. Yudhishthirastu tam drishtva yamau krishnarjunau api abhivadya bhavam stushnim kim vivakshur iha gatah. Yudhishthirastu tam drishtva yamau krishnarjunau api abhivadya bhavam stushnim kim vivakshuriga gatah. Yudhishthirastu tam drishtva yamau krishnarjunau api abhivadya bhavam stushnim kim vivakshuriha gatah. Drishtva Trishnim Kim Vivakshuriha Gatah. Yudhishthirastu tam drishtva Mau Krishna Avdanapi Abhivadya Uttam Trishnim Vivakshuriha Gatah. Yudhishthirastu tam drishtva Mau Krishna Arjunavapi Trishnim Kimivakshuviha Gatah. Ladies, Yudhishthirastu tam drishtva Namo Krishna Arjunavapi Adhyavatam Tushtim Bhavashuturiyagatah. Yudhishthiraha, King Yudhishthira, tu, but, tam, him, Lord Balaram, drishtva, seeing, Yamau, the twin brothers, Nakula and Sahadev, Krishna Arjunau, Krishna and Arjuna, Api, also, Abhivadya, offering obeisances, Abhavam, they were, Tushnim, silent, Kim, what, Vivakshuhu, intending to say, Iha, here, Agataha, has come. Translation. When Yudhishthir, Lord Krishna, Arjun, and the twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev saw Lord Balaram, they offered him respectful obeisances but said nothing, thinking, what has he come here to tell us? Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, the reason they were silent was that Lord Balram was somewhat affectionate towards Duryodhana, who had learned from Balaramji the art of fighting with a club. Thus, when the fighting was going on, King Yudhishthir and the others thought that Balram might have come here to say something in favor of Duryodhana, and therefore they remained silent. We have not read the previous verses, na? Yeah. So let us read those verses. Yeah. So this is the trouble of Balramji. We'll read that. There at Setubandha Rameshwaram, Lord Halayuddha gave Brahmanas 10,000 cows in charity. He then visited the Kritamala and Tamraparani rivers and the great Malaya mountains. In the Malaya range, Lord Balram found Agastya Rishi sitting in meditation. After bowing down to the sage, the Lord offered him prayers and then received blessings from him. Taking leave from Agastya, he proceeded to the shore of the southern ocean, where he saw goddess Durga in the form of Kanya Kumari. Next, he went to Falgun Tirtha and bathed in a sacred Panchabshara lake, where Lord Vishnu had directly manifested himself. At this place, he gave away another 10,000 cows. The Supreme Lord then traveled through the kingdoms of Kerala and Trigartha, visiting Lord Shiva's sacred city of Gokarna, where Lord Durjat, Dhurjati, also Lord Shiva, directly manifested himself. After visiting goddess Parvati, who dwells in an island, Lord Balram went to the holy place district of Surparkha and bathed in the Tapi, Payosni, and Nirvindya rivers. He next entered the Dandaka forest and went to the river Reva, along with along which the city of Mahishmati is found. He then bathed at Manu Tirtha and finally returned to Prabhas. The Lord heard from some Brahmanas how all the kings involved in the battle between the Kurus and Pandavas had been killed. From this, he concluded that the earth was now relieved of her burden. Wanting to stop the club fight, then raging between Bhima and Duryodhana on the battlefield, Lord Balram went to Kurukshetra. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते च गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. My great pleasure and honor to sit in this sacred holy place sanctified by the vision of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and his beloved followers who are trying to make this place and fulfill the dreams of our empowered Vaishnavas of ISKCON Guru Vrinda. We are seeing this project in its infancy, but just like a child develops as an embryo in the womb of the mother, and then in 9 months goes through a process of metamorphosis where he becomes a full-fledged child. So we are in that phase of metamorphosis right now, and we are not seeing what the great souls have already seen. And all of us together have been given this very sacred responsibility to manifest the vision which is supposed to really manifest in this holy place in due course of time. When Srila Prabhupada began his Juhu project, nobody knew how it was going to manifest. In fact, when you read the book, you must have seen how Prabhupada's disciples, the whole struggle with Mr. Nair, they had given away the project thinking that this is an impossible project. Not only from the legal complications and complexities, but the mere fact that it was in such a far off place. Now it is at Juhu Parla. You talk of 1960s, it was like a remote part of Mumbai. Nobody even went there. There's nothing in that place except the sea and the shore. Nothing else was there. There was practically no human inhabitation except some fishermen living there collecting fish from the Arabian Sea. And yet, Srila Prabhupada saw this place. To Mr. Rubin sitting at the bench of Pennsylvania, he sat there, Buttle, Pennsylvania. He said that I see there'll be hundreds of temples, thousands of devotees, and millions of books. Who even thought that in sitting in Butler, where Prabhupada had not even started the movement still, didn't even have a disciple, didn't have New York Second Avenue still, had nothing, just sitting on a bench, looked more like a daydreamer, you know. He's just building castles in the air. But the Ichha Shakti of pure Vaishnavas is blessed by Krishna himself. So the Ichha Shakti has been already, the mandate has already been proclaimed for this very holy place. And hopefully we all remain alive in this uncertain world of war and strife and COVID to see this manifest and rejoice in our hearts that Krishna will in a very special way manifest here for the betterment and upliftment of the whole world. Hare Krishna. There are few parts in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Balramji has given prominence. Generally, we find the dominant character in the entire Bhagavatam is 10th canto is Krishna. He dominates, not dominates in the wrong way, but he is the focus of narrations by Sripad Shukdev Goswami. But here you find a series of verses that talks only about the activities of Lord Balramji Maharaj, right? Therefore, it is very sweet, very nice to reminisce that they are Dui Prabhus, not only Krishna, but Krishna's immediate expansion, Dui Prabhu Bhojane Boshilo, we say, right? And the other Prabhu also is Lord Balaram, whose Prabhupada says absolutely non-different from Krishna, except color. It is very beautiful. Sometimes I gaze in the sky and not in Bombay. Not that I don't have time there, but the sky in Mumbai is not worth seeing. It is grey colored sky. But in other places where the sky is more clear because of lack of pollution, the grey color is created by the intermediary interface between the sky and the earth, atmosphere being contaminated by extrinsic particles of plastic and everything else, CO2, SO2, everything. But when I go to Nasik, when I went to Mauritius, other nice places, you see the blue sky. Actual color of the sky is blue. eh? Krishna is Neela Madhava, right? The temple in Houston by Prabhupada is Neela Madhava. The original form of Lord Jagannath was Neela Madhava, blue colored. So you see blue colored sky, and the sky is very clear and it is non-rainy season. You see the white clouds, pure white clouds, right? Safed. That is Balram, right? So simply by gazing at the clear sky in an uncontaminated city, which is very rare, of course, but still, when you see it, you look at the sky and you see Krishna as blue and Balram as the clouds. They're all both together in the same cosmic manifestation. So here, Balramji's travels have been nicely described. The question comes up in our minds, why is Balramji traveling like this? The historical significance, of course, is that the war has about to start. And because the war is about to start, and Balramji's has a very special role in Mahabharata as not a pro Pandava person, but a pro Kaurava person. Even in Gaur Leela, as you know, Nityananda Prabhu is not a standard behavior person. Like, as per the protocols, what you call. He is known to climb on crocodiles. Nobody climbs on crocodiles. He climbs crocodiles and just starts playing with them, right? Then, he can go to the wine shop and start preaching in the wine shop, right? And he goes and starts preaching to Jagai Madai. Nobody does that, right? No sane man will go to a, mad, crazy, drunkard, sinful, wretched, terrorist type of savage, ghastly person like Jagamada and preach to them. Nobody does that, right? You say, keep away from them. But he goes to he sees them. He says, "Oh, this is exactly what I wanted." So he goes to them, right? So Balramji Maharaj is a very unique personality, and therefore, even though they are two brothers, there is still, even at that level, where there are two supreme personality of Godheads in that sense, there is unity in diversity. They are one. right? They're one. They're one supreme God, Godhead, manifesting as two. And yet within that first expansion itself, there is a sense of diversity. They're not behaving exactly in the same way, right? This goes to show that the principle in the world, right from the manifestation of the earliest forms of the Godhead, is there is unity and diversity. And this totally annihilates the Mayavad philosophy of oneness. There is no one, that everything is one. Even at the top level, the top hierarchy, and of course, what to talk of all the hierarchy below that, even at that level, it starts with two gods, both color different and mood also different, right? Krishna is wanting to marry his Subhadramai to Arjuna, and Balaramji wants her to marry whom? Huh? Duryodhan. I mean, just imagine, Subhadramai is Yogamaya herself, right? She's so pure, she's so uncontainable. How can anybody, how can any, demon touch her? Like, Raman cannot touch Sita Mai, right? Before Vedavati was brought in. Subhadramai is Yogamaya personified. She is not just a regular, ordinary, mundane sister with a material body. She's a divine personality, right? And how can a demon marry Yogamaya? It's not possible. And yet Duryodhana says, yeah, she should marry that because he's my favorite disciple. So he creates rasa. He creates this rasa in Krishna Lila. Over here, from 16 to 24, the verses which we're reading today, he's creating a rasa of neutrality. He's going to the Shanta rasa. Said, I don't want to be I want to be pro Pandava, I don't want to be pro Kaurava. I said, I'll go on pilgrimage. Because if I remain here, I will create controversy. And I leave it to my brother to deal with the whole complexity of this two cousin brothers fighting and all that. So let me just, it's very rare in this world to keep neutral, right? Generally, we have to take sides. But Balramji is able to take completely a neutral stand. But when he's come here after this all touring, he said, why is he come here now at this time? Now he will not take us, now he will probably take a pro Kaurava stand. And it will make the whole thing very difficult because now the fight is going on, They're like 28-day fight between Duryodhana and Arjun. 20, how many days? Many days. Fight was there. And he will take side of Duryodhana. So they are like very much, let Krishna manage the whole show now. You won't say anything. Nakul is tongue-tied, Sadhya is tongue-tied, Arjuna is tongue-tied, Vishwan is tongue-tied. Nobody is going to speak anything. Said that Krishna manage the show now. His brother has come, he will end up. So he's visiting all these holy places. The list is given. The predominant activities we see Balramji Maharaj is performing is meeting the sages. Here it mentions about Agastya Rishi and other places there are other sages he has met. Meeting sages, number one. Number two, taking bath in the holy rivers, of which there are so many in our holy country of Bharatvarsha. And third is giving charity, right? So Balramji is Adi Guru. Adi Guru. He is a embodiment of the Guru Tattva. Krishna of course, is the embodiment of all tattvas. All tattvas emanate from Krishna, right? But then specific expanses of Krishna take different tattvas on Krishna's behalf. Because then Krishna remains all by himself as the Rasik Shekhara. As Rasik Shekhara means there is just simply the supreme enjoyer of the rasa of dealing with his various devotees. And the creative tattva and everything else is done by somebody else, Mahavishnu and others. Therefore, In today's discussion, we would like to focus on the types of holy places. What is a type of holy places? There is not just one type of holy place. We may say, okay, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Sri Rameshwaram, Sri Rangakshetra, Vrindavan Dham, Sridham Mayapur, Kolkata, the holy places. But the various types of holy places. We'll try and see if we can understand something on this principle. Because to make our lives are otherwise quite unholy. Living in the material world, we all become unholy. You go to a mine of coal mine, your clothes cannot remain pure and white. You go to a coal mine, your clothes will become black. Anybody who wears the white clothes in a coal mine will come out black in color because he will definitely be affected by the environment. Right? Similarly, our souls, however pure they have been originally, like the pure drop of water which falls from the sky, from the rain cloud, it is pure H2O. Two molecules of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen combined together as one drop of water. Right? However, as it passes down through the atmosphere and starts coming towards, because of gravity, towards the earth, and before it touches the earth, it is already contaminated. Right? So they say when you have rains fall, in the first rains, nobody takes a bath in the first rains. They are called as acid rains. And therefore you get skin diseases they're because it's going to dissolve so much of atmospheric dirt, right? It falls on the skin, it can create skin diseases. So just like that raindrop falls from the sky and by the time it falls on the ground, it becomes contaminated. The spirit soul also becomes contaminated by living in the unholy environment. And therefore the Lord, in his master plan for this man, in his manifestation, has created so many holy places. In the creation of holy places, we need to see the element of the Lord's compassion. That either he comes himself, which he comes many times, every yuga he comes, and yet when he is not even there, he has created in this world so many holy places that the jivatmas can go and take advantage of them, right? So Krishna actually, even though the material energy keeps on creating endless amount of distractions, right, to distract the spirit soul from its goal of life, the Lord has already pre-prepared a world which is full of so many holy places, right? And Balramji sets a precedent himself that yes, just like an ordinary living entity must travel to holy places to purify himself, he is playing that role now. Does Balramji need to go to holy places? Does he need to meet Agastya Rishi and take his blessings? Balramji can bless the whole world, right? But he is bowing down to a sage. Does he need to give charity? No, he doesn't need to do that. Hmm? But yet, in these activities, like a simple Jivatma like you and me, he is setting the standards of how we should live our life. Therefore, going to holy places is a extremely important part of the curriculum of all those who want to purify their consciousness. Right? And therefore, it is important for us to understand the types of holy places. So, the first type of holy place is like what Balramji is going, the designated holy places, which are already through Vedic times been designated as holy places. Right from the time we find at Satya Yuga, when Dhruv Maharaj was there in this world, as you know, when Dhruv Maharaj finished his kingship, I believe for 36,000 years, he was ruling as a king post becoming purified after seeing Prishnigarbha, right, on behalf when his dear father Uttanapada left this world into the woods for Vanaprastha life. After 3,000 years, he went to which place? He went to Badrinath. So right at the time from Dhruva Maharaj, that is Satyuga itself, there is a predesignated place called, it is not something which happened new, it's not like new, discovered holy place, right? So, so he went to Badrinath and stayed there for the rest of his life till the aerial plane came and took him back to Vaikuntha Loka, Shishumara planet. So there is Badrinath, there is Kedarnath, there is Sri Vrindavan Dham. These are all called as pre-designated holy places, which have been always, so they are eternal places. They're eternally existent holy places. They were not sort of, I don't use the word created, they were always there, right? In fact, when we talk about Jagannath Puri, we meant to understand that when uh, the sage was in the waters, who was there in the waters? Markandeya Rishi. The Jai. Shanitai Gauranga Bhagavan ki. So even when he was taking, he was in the, you know, tossing and turning with these Tibingala fishes who are, this, he had taken this benediction of staying for so many millions of years, 7 kalpas practically, right? And at that time, what existed? Puri Jagannath existed. So that makes us understand of the eternality of these holy places. They've been always been there. Puri Jagannath was not created because that Jagannath temple was created by the king in the 12th century, right? It has always been there and will always be there. It is never destroyed, right? Because they are the Lord's own personal abodes. Just as the Lord is indestructible, right? The holy places, even though they're in this material world, they are not destructible, right? They may go through phases of being manifest and unmanifest, but they are always existent, right? So these very, very holy places are something which uh, eternally have been there and benefiting mankind for millions upon millions and millions of years, right? Where devotees, how many people have gone there to these places and they have taken advantage, right? So, what is this? For us, this is a manifestation of the Lord's Karuna. We say, Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, right? So, the Lord is not at all miserly. The Lord in the Christian tradition, there's a big debate always as to whether the created Lord is he connected with his creation or not. There's a big discussion in the theological society, theological circles. Is a God who creates the world, how is he connected to his creation? But in the Gaudiya tradition, Vaishnava tradition, we understand that the Lord is always connected fully with his creation. And this is one of the ways he does that, right? By creating holy places, by giving holy places to the world. The second variety of holy places, which is what we should also appreciate and understand, is places where the holy devotees reside, right? So we know the story of Maharaj Vidura. After going on his pilgrimage, and he meets the Pandavas, he said, Swantasthena Gadabrataha. Gadabrata means the Lord who carries the Gada. Tirthi Gurvande Tirthani. Swantasthena Gadabrataha. Right? So the holy devotees are also holy places. Right? Wherever they go, they create holy places. The place where we stay in Meera Road, there is a place called Nirmal, which is the next station called Vasai. Right? Now this is been mentioned even in the Mahabharata. Why? Because of the place where the Pandavas resided during their exile. Right? When you go to Ekachakra, Ekachakra is known to us because Nityananda Prabhu's birthplace. It's true, fine, that's perfect. But even prior to that, it was a holy place because we know that The Tila is there, Pandava Tila is there, the Pandava Vruksha is there, where that house of the Brahmani was there and the host of Bakasur we all know, right? So that was a pre-designated place. Why? Because the Pandavas had stayed there. Otherwise, it was not otherwise a holy place, right? But of course, it's further sanctified by the birth of Lord Nityananda. So wherever even great Vaishnavas go, right? So that brings into our heart an enhanced understanding of the power of a holy person. What is the power of a holy person? He creates holy places, right? Some people can create a building or create this, create that. Now, can anybody create holy places, right? But a holy person is endowed with the power of God Himself, with the power of Krishna Himself. So, whatever pastimes, whatever, wherever he stays, even after he goes away from that place, right? The like you have a flower, right? When it's in a beautiful flower, it is kept there. Sometimes when it is crushed, the fragrance remains, right? So when the material energy acts on that place, that holiness of that place is never lost. It's never lost, right? And therefore, for us, wherever the great souls have been, is a holy place for us, worshipable by us. So, holy place is created by the holy man itself, correct? The place where Madhvacharya was born, and that is the seashore, the Pajaka Kshetra, right? Otherwise, it is just a sea and a shore, right? What is so great about seashore? There are so many seas and so many shores, right? But Madhvacharya's lotus feet descended in that place. So today, all Madhavas Sampradaya people, we are also Madhavas, right? Madhva Gaudiyas. We all go to these places and we worship that holy place, the appearance place of Sripad Madhavacharya, whose appearance is tomorrow. That's why I mentioned his name. And of course, day after is the appearance day of Sripad Ramanujacharya, right? So these are to make us understand the power of holy place is created by holy people, the great souls. The third holy place is the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava, right? The lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava. All the tirthas are supposed to reside in the holy place of the great souls. When we sing the Guru Puja every day, right, we are worshipping Srila Prabhupada. But it is not just that. By worshiping Srila Prabhupada, actually, we are worshipping his lotus feet specifically, right? And therefore, all our flowers which we offer are offered by at his lotus feet, not on his head, not on his armpit, not on his belly, at his lotus feet. Because at his lotus feet, all the holy places reside, right? Evidence of this, Shastric evidence? Yes. When Sri Gauranga Dev, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, went to the holy place of Gaya, right, for performing externally. When Mahaprabhu went for two reasons to Gaya, external and internal. Externally to perform Shraddha of his deceased father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, uh, to show the world that they must perform Shraddha. But that is not the main reason. The main reason was to meet with his eternal Gurudev, Sripad Ishwarapuri. So if you read if you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, right, and we read the verses, there are about 4 verses in this Chaitanya Bhagavat. Of course, I'm very poor at quoting verses. Bengali is not my natural language. So when I read those verses where he sees Sripad Ishwarapuri, said, "Your lotus feet, all the holy places reside here," and he beautifully eulogizes Ishwarapuri, right? Uh, and the power of your lotus feet. And he worships those lotus feet of Ishwarapuri over there. Apparently, there is a lotus feet of Gadadhar also there, right? There's a Gadadhar temple at Sri Gaya Dham, right? Because Gayasur was killed there. But more than that is the worship of Lord Chaitanya, his spiritual master, right? So these verses, if you can get time, you can read those verses of Mahaprabhu meeting Sripad Ishwarapuri in that place. So, Vando Moi Savadhana Mate, right? So every word of the Sri Guru Puja, Guru Vandana, is enhancing our appreciation, right, for the holiness of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharya whomever you are worshipping, and especially the power of their lotus feet, right? Every line in the Sri Guru Puja is, so I approach these lotus feet with great care and attention. Shri Guru, therefore it starts with his lotus feet. Shri Guru Charana Padma, right? So the focus is of the great souls is on their charan. Again, because the charan is the abode of all the holy places, right? The holy places do not move. Vrindavan does not move. Badrinath does not move. But the holy sages, they move. Prabhupada moved, right? And because he went different places, he created holy places. Right? So, so they are more merciful than those holy places also. Because holy places manifest through. So Prabhupada left Sri Radha Damodar Mandir. Radha Damodar Mandir in Seva Kunj is the holiest of all holy places. Seva Kunj is the center of the spiritual world. The spiritual world has a center. Like in the material world, we have Naimisharani as our center. The center of the spiritual world is Seva Kunja in the spiritual sky of Golok Vrindavan. And that Seva Kunj manifests in the Seva Kunj which we have. And the center of Seva Kunj is Sri Radha Damodar Mandir. How holy is that place? And His Divine Grace, for no uh, strange and coincidental reason, stayed there because staying at the very center of the world of Golok Vrindavan Dham, right? Where Radha Damodar Mandir is manifested today. So why would somebody staying there and experiencing Golok Vrindavan ever want to go out of that place? Experiencing Krishna's presence at all times, 24. Pratik Shanasvada Pasya is experiencing Krishna's Ashtakal Lila at all times. Why would he want to go out from that place? He's in ecstasy. Prabhupada is in an ecstasy there. But actually, he doesn't want to explicit ecstasy. Because the heart is overwhelmed by his own tears for suffering humanity. Therefore, he carries Vrindavan in his heart. And what does he do? He brings those great holy places in New York, in Paris, in San Francisco, in Sydney, Australia, right? He creates these places. And therefore, we come to the other part of the fourth type of holy place, which is the temple of the Lord. The temple of the Lord is the fourth type of holy place. When we say holy place means it is not affected by the laws of the external energy. That means it is impervious, like you have a kavacha, right? You have a kavacha. When you wear a kavacha, like the soldiers wear a kavacha, which is supposed to protect them from the attack of the enemies. So the temple of the Lord, even though apparently made of bricks and stone and wood and paint and glass and electric wires, right? But because it is fully in the source of the Lord, it becomes chintamani, right? Therefore, the temple of the Lord is considered in Vaishnava tradition as the body of the Lord. The deities are the soul of the temple, and the temple is the body of the temple of the Lord. Just like we have a soul and we have a body, right? The soul is inside, and the body is apparently hands, legs, etc., etc., right? So this temple, we can say it is wood and paint and all that, right? But this is the body of the Lord, right? And therefore, every part of the body of the temple has to be taken care of. Any unwanted scratch, right? Like Radhanath Swami Maharaj, we have the temple. This you have made a temple here, which is of I think some Italian tiles. It looks like that. But at Gopinath Mandir, we have a wooden floor, right? A wooden board. And then all the Vyasasans, all the tables which are to be moved, all the Tulsi Maharani stands, will be moved from here to there, right? So all of them have under them a type of cloth material where they have to be lifted. You don't have to drag them. If you drag them and you create a scratch, practically you create a scratch in the heart of Radhanath Swami's heart. So for him, that scratch is an unpardonable offense because it is the Lord's temple. That is the temple room, right? It's an extremely sacred place, right? So therefore, to see the temple, so when Radhanath Maharaj one day was just traveling around, and some I think Sunday feast or something was there, and then Khichdi Prasad was served out in the morning. Morning generally we have Khichdi Prasad, and afternoon we have Sunday love feast, right? So it was served, and then the Khichdi Prasad was served, the table was there, and the pot was taken away, but the Khichdi was all lying on the table, right? So by giving Khichdi, some Khichdi falls here and there, and Maharaj says, "What nonsense! What kind of cleanliness is this?" And in his own loving, nice, but firm way, he chastised the devotees. He said, "This is the Lord's temple. How can you keep it?" And then he gave the example because of the temple of the Sikhs, the Sikh temple of Gurudwara, which is at Amritsar, right? At Amritsar, Maharaj has been there, and there you walk in that place, right? And if you walk from a dirty place, suppose you come from a rainfall, it's outside a raining place, right? And you come with dirty shoes, you put your shoes on the shoe stall, like this. So you walk with those chuck, 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 dirty footprints. Then there will be somebody there who immediately will clean it up, right? Of course, when I went to Abu Dhabi, I had a similar experience in a mosque also, right? When we were walking in the mosque, right? And then we were walking, there were people just standing with uh, this napkins, this towels, like that. And when we were walking, immediately you're cleaning it up. So, in all traditions of the world, the temple or the mosque or the synagogue or the church is a very, very sacred place, a place of worship. And therefore, the highest level of cleanliness is expected from that. So Prabhupada said, our temple should be what? Revolutionarily clean. I don't know where that phrase came from. Revolution is one word, clean is another word. But Prabhupada combined these two beautiful words. He said, revolution means, Krantikari, Bhagat Singh and all that, Kranti, that is revolutionary. And then you have clean. And we say cleanliness next to godliness. That we have heard many, many times. But our temple should be revolutionarily clean. It means not even a speck of, that's a big standard to keep, of course. But that's what Prabhupada expects our tables to be. Right? Why? Because it is the Lord's own body. There's a reason behind it. It is not like Saraswati Thakur said, it's not a OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, where you're like fanatic about, hey, not clean here, clear it up, clean it up. So it is not a OCD, right? It's not obsessive disorder, but it is a not a psychiatric disorder, but it is a pure heart, right? Everyone thinks should be kept clean. The kartal is Balramji's body, the Mridanga, everything has to be kept in proper place, right? Clean. Therefore, you know, after we had a Pushya Abhishek recently in the temple, Radha Govinda temple. I think you all know that there is maybe a year also, I don't know. But many temples in ISKCON thereafter have been following Pushya Abhishek. So Pushapishek means there is 1 ton of flowers. 1 ton of flowers, right? So how many petals does that create? Billions of petals, right? And they all are showered with great love by the brahmacharis who stand behind the lordships, and they keep on showering Radha Gopinath with those petals of mogra and the gauti rose and these yellow flowers and gonda and all sorts of flowers and malligya flowers and all sorts of flowers are put to the Lord, right? And then the flowers are brought in huge big uh, you know, cane baskets, and those jharokas which are there on the both sides, the devotees stand there and wait for signal of whoever is the signal giver, Radha Kund Prabhu or whoever is there, Purushottam Prabhu, and said, Chalo. And then all the flowers which have bathed the Lord, then they are showered on the devotees. The whole temple room is filled with flowers, and then everyone is dancing, jumping, singing. So the flowers like, and you take the flowers and put on each other's body, and it's a great festival. And it's one of the most ecstatic moments. The heart just overflows with joy, right? And Maharaj and everybody just stands there throwing flowers on each other. You throw flowers on Maharaj, Maharaj throws flowers on you. You throw flowers on all your friends and all fellow Vaishnavas. Of course, Vaishnavis, that 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 gender respect is always maintained. Otherwise, so no non-Vaishnava behavior is allowed. That decorum is always very important. Deities are there, temple is there. So that is done. And then next day there is a Bhagavatam class which Radhan Maharaj gave, right? And for first 5 minutes, he spoke only about those devotees. And people like us, we were in a festival, we participated in festival, and we went home with some flowers in our pocket, some flowers on our head, some flowers in our bag, and we cleared it up and we went to sleep and finished. Kadam, right? And Maharaj for 5 minutes just went on glorifying those devotees who cleaned the temple. Because every part of the temple, the chandeliers, the fans, everything, there are petals everywhere, right? All over the temple, there are flowers. You can imagine that. Everyone is throwing flowers, right? So in this room, in that room, in this room, all over in the corridors, down there, in the Bhaktan, the hall, in the porch, everywhere there are flowers, flowers, flowers everywhere. Everything, the devotee just cleans up everything. And when next day, come in the morning next day, you don't find a single petal of flower in any corner of the temple. Not a single petal, not even one petal, right? It's absolutely clean, as if the festival did not even take place, right? So this is what's called as revolutionarily clean. And Maharaj glorified those devotees. Who did that? So one devotee was like shying away. He said, Prabhuji, he was the team leader. He did it all this. Right? Some simple brahmachari was there. He did it all this. So this is the fourth type of holy place, the temple of the Lord. And therefore we need to have the highest sanctity to prevail. Hmm? And of course in the temple, and there is another part of the temple called the Garbhagriha, which is even more sanctified, right? Because the Lord Himself stays there. It is His own personal room where He stays. The Garbhagriha is the most sanctified part of the temple, right? Just like we have a body, the most important part of the body is our heart, right? Yes, we have a kidney and we have intestines and we have a bladder and we have a spine, but the most important part of the body is our heart. So the Garbhagriha is like the heart of the temple. And therefore, that place is so very important. Nobody gossips there. Nobody does jokes there when you're inside. Nobody mistreats things there. You keep the highest level of sanctity by your Bhuta Shuddhi, Mana Shuddhi, right? And you are focused on only on the Lord's Seva, right? So that's the type of heightened understanding we have of the Garbhagriha of the Lord. This is the fourth type of holy place. And the fifth type of holy place is, I thought that more in terms of for the Grihasthas, Brahmacharis also to a certain extent, is the homes where we stay. So, in Vaishnava understanding, Holy places are not just temples, but in fact, it is said and beautifully said that we should make the temple into our home and make our home into a temple, right? And therefore, for every grihastha, for the brahmacharis, this is their home where they stay. This is the way they naturally reside. But for the large part of the community, which is grihasthas, their home is also supposed to be a holy place. It is not automatically a holy place, but the endeavor of the residents of that place is to create a sense of holiness and divinity in the place they reside. And therefore, and the most important part of the house usually should be the altar of the Lord. Therefore, you find that most holy, so most of Vaishnava places, you find that they will spend a lot of creative energy and even some amount of good amount of Lakshmi sometimes to create a nice altar, right? Where they will install Sri Sri Gaurnita. We don't say really install. These are installed, but we say welcome because and the grasses obviously cannot, with all their jobs and children and everything else, create the same standards of worship in the house. So we say we welcome. So we welcome Sri Sri Gaurnita, we welcome Sri Sri Jagannath Swami, Baldev Subhadra Maharani, welcome Radha Krishna. Depends on the various moods and various considerations. But those deity, so then the 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 understanding for the Grihas is that this house technically legally belongs to me. It is in my name. The agreement paper is made with the agreement office in my name, right? But it belongs to whom? It now belongs to the deities. And then now everybody who's in this house, who's staying here, we are all servants of the deities. And everything happens in this house is for their pleasure, right? And there were Thakur Bhakti Vinod, who is the foremost Grihastha Acharya for all of us, said this beautiful line, Je din grihe bhajan dekhi grihete kulaka bhai, right? So our Grihastha Acharya has given that high standard for all of us Grihasthas who are practicing Vaishnava lifestyle to create our houses into places of holy places, right? Where the thought process, the words, the behavior, everything is in light with the lifestyle of a Vaishnava, where we try and keep away from unholy activities, unholy thought processes, unholy behaviors, but really, as much as possible, try to create an atmosphere of divinity. It's a tall order for Grihasthas, we know that, but that is what is expected, that a Grihastha's house becomes a Grihastha ashram, right? We call this place as an ashram. This is an ashram, right? Yes, temple is another name. We can synonymously use the word temple and ashram. But for a Grihastha also, his house, and when everyone in the house is in harmony with the understanding that we are supposed to live here for the pleasure of the Lord, right? And therefore, we invite even holy people to come to our house, the sadhus, the brahmacharis. We feed them prasadam, we take their guidance, we take their association, we offer them charity of Lakshmi, right? And therefore, we make every attempt for a grihastha to make the house even more holy by the welcoming. When Nanda Maharaj was blessed by the appearance of Gargacharya in his house, how happy he was. Bhagavatam talks about that. That when holy people like all of you come, we are blessed because we grihasthas are always involved with money, what Prabhupada calls as pounds and shilling, right? With money matters. But when the great souls come into our house, the house becomes sanctified. Becomes sanctified. Therefore, knowing that it is a tall order for grihasthas to maintain holiness, we invite holy people to come to our houses, and therefore our house becomes holy. And therefore, many times in greats, when you go to many grihasthas' houses, we can actually go to the house and feel that this place is so much of sattva guna here, so much of peace here, so much of holiness here, right? Where everybody is a Vaishnava. right? So this way there are various types of holy places. And the last but not the least, the sixth type of holy place is our own heart. Our own heart. Our whole heart is supposed to be a holy place, right? Sarvasa chaham riddhi sanivisto, right? Therefore, the concept given in the Gundicha Marjanam Leela by Sripad Bhakti Sansari Thakur's purport in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is so beautiful. Prabhupada writes such a nice purport. I'm sure all of you have read that. And it is a meditative purport where Prabhupada uses the word Hridaya Simhasana. Hridaya Simhasana, right? That a heart is not, when you say the word heart, it is not the biological heart, which has got an aorta and left ventricle, right ventricle, and all that, right? That is the biological heart. But we talk about the heart. It is the heart means the seat of consciousness. The heart actually for it means the seat of his own consciousness, which is in the region of the heart, right? It's the region of the heart. And therefore, the Hridaya Simhasana is also like an altar, right? Like an altar. And therefore, who resides on that altar is so very important. In the conditioned state, who resides there? Ahankar resides there. As the Ahankar which dictates every thought, every word, every action is dictated by Simhasana means the king, right? Who sits on a, it's not a seat like a plastic seat, it's a Simhasana, right? It's the king. So who's the king of your life? Ahankar, right? Janasa moho yam aham mameti. When Ahankar sits on the throne of our heart, everything we do, everything that Jivatma does, right from a small ant to the greatest of demigods, because the heart is occupied by the seat of Ahankar, everything which is done there is based on this premise of Janasya Mohoyam Aham Ameti, principle of I and mine. And therefore, when Mahaprabhu performs this Gundicha Marjanam Leela, which is so important for Grihasthas, for Brahmacharis, for all of us to understand that in the minutest part of the particles were removed, right? The subtlest part of contamination, which is there in the heart, is removed. The straw is removed, dust is removed, particles are removed, right? And then you have and Thakur Bhaktivinoda sings in the song Udila Aruna Purabha Bhage, Hriday Gagana Biraje. Hriday, right? That song is there. Udila Aruna Purabha Bhage, Arunodaya Kirtan it's called. That song is called Arunodaya Kirtan. I think the seventh or eighth verse says, Hriday Gagana Biraje. Right? So we want to install, yes, we want to install Krishna in our temples. Yes, we want to install Krishna in our own homes. But what is the final goal of life? The final goal of life is to install Sri Sri Radha and Krishna on the altar of our own hearts. Right? And that was revealed in the most beautiful way by Hanumanji Maharaj. The Leela was there, right? So we end with this Leela, the beautiful Leela of Hanumanji Maharaj. So Lord Ramchandra has just become coronated. Sita Maya is sitting there, sitting on this Simhasana of Ayodhya Dham. They're coming back after 14 long years. Everyone rejoicing. There is Diwali, there is festivities, there is festoons, there is the whole city is illuminated, and there is complete, joy and rejoice that the beloved Lord, the Lord of their hearts, practically when the Lord had gone away, the soul had gone away from their hearts. They were even like lifeless, just like in Vrindavan. When Krishna had gone away, all the cows became lifeless, the calves became lifeless, Yamuna became lifeless, everything was lifeless, right? They're living but not living, sort of thing, right? So even Ayodhya went through that state of intense viparalamba when Sita and Ram went away from Ayodhya Dham. And when they came back, it's like the dead body is again becomes alive, full of it's like a person in coma. When he gets his conscience back, he becomes full of activity, right? So they became like that, right? And therefore they're sitting, and for them to see Sita and Ram on the throne of Ayodhya was the greatest, the sight which they were never wanted to forget in their life. This is their dream of their existence, Sita and Ram back on the altar of Ayodhya Dham. And then Sri Ramchandra ji is very gracefully, the Lord is very grateful. The Lord has to be grateful, but the Lord is grateful to all the devotees who helped him. All the monkeys were there. As you know, the Pushpa Viman had brought all the monkeys. Right? All the monkeys who fought, they all became alive. They were brought alive. Right? And everyone came back, and they were all full, the whole. And we have the courtroom of Ayodhya Dham is not like a small, parliament house, like few people sitting there. It's a huge place. It's a huge, huge place. So everybody was there, and then uh, they, Lord Ramchandra reserves his last comments. He said, of course, what to talk of my greatest devotee, Hanumanji Maharaj. Said, Sita, you remember, right? How he saved your life. And of course, how could Sita forget, Because if it wasn't for Hanumanji to reach Lanka, she would have been, the history would have been different, right? So Sita Maya heart was overflowing with gratitude because 10 months she had passed in this demoniac environment of Ashok Vatika. What a horrible situation she has gone through. So much of suffering, pain, fear. So how could she, so for in her heart, the greatest gratitude was for Jatayu, who died for her, and for Hanumanji, who saved her life. Her heart was overflowing with for two people among everybody else. So she was remembering Jatayu, and she's remembering. So anyway, she said, I want to give this to Hanuman. So she takes out her own beautiful special necklace. So this is being staying. This is very dear to me. And gives it to Hanumanji, right? Hanumanji accepts that, and as when Hanuman sees this, so Hanumanji cannot connect with that. He's a monkey, right? He said, what is this, right? So he starts biting it. He starts biting it, and each and every bead is biting and throwing, biting and throwing. And Vibhishan gets up and said, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? The royal gift of Mother Sita, right? Is this where you behave and start eating and chewing into a gift which Mother Sita gives you? Something is wrong with you. In that tone, he didn't say that something wrong with you. That was said, are you all right? Why are you doing this? So Hanuman said, I have no value for this. For me, the value of anything in the world is only if Sri Ram is there in it. If the Ram is not there, this, however costly it may be in the material sense, maybe billions of, when what Mother Sita wears is like billions and billions of dollars, right? There's no value for me, right? Therefore, I'm saying the Ram is there. It's not there, not there. Ram. So Vibhishan says, there are many things in this world which do not have Ram in it. Are they useless? Your body, Hanumanji, may not have Ram in it. Is it useless? Someone said, my body has no Ram in it. My every pore of skin has Ram in it. He is occupying my entire mind. He has overwhelmed my entire existence. If you don't believe it, I will show it to you. And he takes out his upper kavacha, upper cloth, and he opens his heart. Right? And who's there in his heart? Sita and Ram. Hridaya Gagana Biraje. On the throne of his heart, huh? One of the names of Hanuman is Hridaya Ram. One of the devotees in Mumbai, whose name is Hridaya Ram, right? Hridaya Ram Das, Hridaya Das Prabhu. So Hanuman showed that how on the altar of his heart was Sita and Ram. So that is the ultimate aspiration of a practicing devotee. To ultimately have, to welcome, therefore it says, what does it say? मेरे मन मंदिर में एक बार तो आ जाओ गिरिधारी प्यारे आ जाओ गिरिधारी. Right? This is the aspiration of a Vaishnava, that he wants to have the Lord. Yes, he wants to worship him on the altar, he wants to worship him in in the books, in the Bhagavatam, the holy feet of of Srila Prabhupada and the great souls, but finally he wants to have the Lord come and manifest in his own heart, right? And that is the goal of our very existence. The Lord is happy, right? When he sees sincerity of our existence, when he sees sincerity of our sadhana bhakti, when he sees a sincere service attitude, when he sees a humble Vaishnav who's giving his life, sacrificing his life for the mission of the spiritual master, right? Then the Lord himself cleanses and dislodges the ahankar. No practicing devotee can destroy ahankar. Ahankar, by definition, is an indestructible entity. It cannot be destroyed by the sadhaka. It cannot be. It is not humanly possible to destroy ahankar. It can only be eliminated grace, by grace, by kripa. Hmm? So when the devotee does his 100% in service to the Lord, then out of his causeless mercy, eliminates ahankar from his heart and resides eternally in the heart of his dear devotee. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Yes, if devotees have any questions, they can ask.
His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Tai Gaur Chandra Bhagavan ki jai.
Questions are there. Actually, they are so stunned by your, they are so absorbed hearing your class, they are not thinking of any questions. So they need some just time to, reflect. Yes, Hari.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. Uh, so, by your presentation, like we understood that we should always be in a very spiritual consciousness. We should be always seeing things in a very spiritual vision. Then we can appreciate everything as this is the body of the Lord, the whole temple. Then we can be in that consciousness. But like due to the effect of modes is very very strong, and due to the very deep conditioning, deep rooted conditionings, I mean, it becomes difficult again and again to, although we do our sadhana very nicely and we try to practice, but still the effect of modes is very, very strong. So, how to uh, continue with that patience and determination that we keep on going and progressing and increasing our Krishna consciousness.
It's a common challenge for all of us. It is not specific to you as a practicing sadhaka. It's a challenge for all of us in this room and for every devotee. There are various things which we should think about. One of the things, of course, is our desire. Your question should prompt all of us to think in this way. My dear Lord, I was first want to create a desire in my heart, right? Because everything is based on desire, right? Krishna will only reciprocate yathama prapadyante tam sad vajami aham. The Sri Gita says. So if it is our desire to create, maintain, and nourish this consciousness at all times, right? That is the beginning of this process which you're talking about right now, right? My dear Lord, I have been, that's why when I say I'm conditioned soul, you see the word conditioned is, this word is so important for us, right? And we never thought of conditions. When I said conditions, so means, for us condition means air condition. That's the only thing we can use, no? That we use the word conditioning, not that way. But conditioning is an extremely deep meditative word, right? So when you say conditioning means it is just the way for billions of lifetimes I've been conditioned to think, behave, and act in this world, right? I have not acted differently. In every body of the 84 lakh species I have taken, as my spirit soul has taken, I have conditioned to think that I am the enjoyer, I'm the controller, I'm the proprietor, right? I have not done anything differently. I may have changed from a kangaroo to an earthworm to a cockroach to a bacteria, right? But whatever species I was, I just had this standard way of doing things. I'm the enjoyer, I'm the proprietor, I'm the controller of whatever I am. Even a small bacteria thinks I'm the enjoyer. Can you believe it? I'm enjoying all the, I don't get into all that. My mind is going to biology now. So, it's conditioning, right? So, what is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is basically the entire scientific process of deconditioning the consciousness. That's what it is in one line, right? We may say Krishna consciousness this, that, this, blah, blah, blah. You can have various definitions, but in simple terms, as far as today's discussion is concerned, right? It's a scientific process given by the acharyas, given by the scriptures, given by the holy men, and a process which helps you to, in one lifetime or in a couple of lifetimes or several lifetimes, just decondition yourself to start things seeing the way as they are and not as they appear to be. This appears to be an electrical fan which is works because of a switch which is there. The switchboard is there. I put it on and it will work. It's just a fan. What's so great about that, right? So I'm conditioned to think like that, right? But that's why the word as it is important. So when we have the desire and we pursue the desire by acts of conscious remembrance, then the Lord blesses us, right? To start seeing things as they are and not as they appear to be, right? The body of a pure devotee appears to be like our body. How sad, right? No, the body of a pure devotee is Chintamani, even though it is made up of the same material of flesh, blood, bones, and veins. The body of pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, is not mundane, it is Chintamani. Therefore, we never burn it, but we bury it, right? So, uh, so it, as I said, it starts with desire, and of course, this Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya is what is a general process which we've been told that by simply sitting in the Srimad Bhagavatam classes with attention, with absorption, gradually Srimatam Swagatham Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidhantasto hi. That word is very important for us. Bhadra, Abhadra. Right? So we are filled with this because of this Abhadra, that Abhadra is clouding the lens of our consciousness. So see the whole world with the lens of a contaminated consciousness. When you have Abhadra, then you start clearing the consciousness. Just like the wipers of a car, you don't have wipers in the car, you keep on, you keep the car for 3 days, in this other place full of dust, and you keep driving to the roads of Calcutta, you can imagine, you cannot see anything, you're just driving, you don't know what you're driving. So every car has a syringing mechanism by which you can, 4 syringes come out, and then in the wiper, so you can just start seeing, right? So periodically, every driver who has driven the car knows that he has to keep on syringing his windscreen so that the wipers can keep cleaning it. So that's for us also, all of us. By staying in this world, as you said, rightly said, that the screen of our consciousness will get blurred. Because we are just conditioned to see things materially. What can we do? We are just conditioned to see things materially, right? Having lived in a material body for 84 lakh species of life, for millions of lifetimes, because they lived with matter and dealt with matter, we just think everything is matter. This temple is matter. Everything is, these deities are matter. Oh, that is Naraka Buddhi. Acharya will tell you, this is Naraka Buddhi. This is not wooden Jagannath. This is not marble, some statue of Ambedkar or somebody like that. It's a deity. There's a difference between a statue and a deity, right? Correct? So then the Lord performs pastimes. He takes kheer from Madhavendra Puri. He walks from Vijayanagar to Katak in his deity form. Why does he do that? To prove Pratima nahi to me. So these stories again, this make us what? Deconditioned. Ah, really? This deity can walk, eh? Acha. So if at least when I'm in a temple, I should be very conscious. I'm in the temple. So no jokes here, no nonsense here. Of course, no nonsense outside also. you know, you know, no time pass stuff here. And usko bulao, usko bulao. You're on the phone, you're talking something. Deity के सामने ऐसा बोल रहा है. You anything that go out and talk. Chalo, बाहर जाओ. Conscious deity is there. And it's dancing. And he backs to the deity, right, all the time. Say, hey, psst, turn this side. You cannot dance with the back of the deity. It is disrespectful to the deity, right? So the Vayu Puran, I think it's Vayu Puran, right? Gives all these various offenses. Srimad Bhagavatam, tells us you don't pass air in the temple. Right? All of us have gas problem, right? And you eat batata vadas, you get gas. You need a burger, you get gas. And all ISKCON prasad is all rich prasadam, right? And overeating is a part of our life, right? We say, swalpa and all that, right? But we all indulge in prasad. And you eat prasad and you get a lot of gas. Then you have to pass it. Where do you pass it? Right? You have to go out and pass. Anyway, I'm just saying those things on a lighter note also. But it's to make us conscious that this temple is so important, right? You cannot pass air, you cannot shout. It said you cannot even offer obeisances to somebody else in front of the deity. I'm sure you heard this, read it before, right? That means all these holy scriptures are making us conscious, in answer to your question, right? That the Lord is here. The Lord is here. He is actually Nitai Gaurachandra standing there, receiving our prayers, looking at us, hearing our every word, seeing our every behavior, and hearing our every thought. How scary is that? Hearing our every thought. Correct? That is the deity of the Lord. He is completely conscious personality. He is fully conscious. He is Chinmay, Shakti. He is not Jada Padartha. It is Chinmay Shakti. Right? So, by hearing, remembering all these things, hopefully gradually we become that Abhadra will go away and one day we will start seeing the things as they are. It's a long process, of course, but it begins with desire. Is it okay?
This pastime, it is very dear to all the devotees. But a little understanding philosophically, sometimes we think that whenever we get something from devotees, like not from devotees, like from deities, sometimes we get some garland or something. So we accept it as prasad. And when Sita Maharani herself has given her ornament to Hanumanji, and then that, I mean, for our understanding, we think it prasad. So how to understand Hanumanji's behavior there? He's breaking it and seeing.
That was Vibhishan's question also. That was exactly what Vibhishan asked this question. He was thinking like what you are saying. कि ये तो उन्होंने दिया है भाई, तो आप कैसे इसको कर सकते हैं? But we must understand also that the pure devotee of the Lord is 100% under the control of his beloved Lord. Right? So it is for eternality of time. Lord Ramchandra wanted to glorify Hanuman as his greatest devotee ever. Right? Yes, Vibhishan is a pure devotee. That small squirrel is a pure devotee. Jata is a pure devotee. They're all there. They're all pure devotees of Lord Ramchandra. But Hanuman is in a category of his own. And therefore, by enacting this Leela, Lord Ramchandra proved to the world that Hanuman is the foremost. Right? So it apparently looks like an offensive behavior, but behind that is the Lord's own orchestrated way of showing the world that Hanuman is and will always remain my very, 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 very special devotee. And he wanted to show the world in a very graphic, in a very dramatic, in a very vivid manner that here is, I always reside in the heart of Lord Hanumanji, right? So this is the Lord's way of glorifying Hanuman. That's another way of looking at the whole thing also. But of course, on the other hand, what you say is true. If I get a garland, I should not start chewing on it. I should honor it. It's a deity garland and deal with it with on a regular in a regular way. Everything which comes from the deities is again sacred, right? Mahaprasad is sacred. Everything is sacred. So at our level, uh, your level, my level, our level, we must treat everything which comes from the deity and the Lord as tadiya, as worshipable as the Lord.
Prabhuji, thanks Prabhuji for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, I have like one doubt, like regarding the temple when we are discussing. So like the deities we know, like as Prabhupada also said that the Lord Krishna or like Earth Vigra is not different from Krishna. But when we talk about like a spiritual master like Prabhupada deity, so for them we do not have like Pran Pratishtha. So is it right to say like the deity of Prabhupada is Prabhupada only, or like the way the deity is reciprocate with the devotees? So can like the deity of Prabhupada, or they can also reciprocate in the same way?
I'll tell you two stories. We were in Mauritius a few years back, and there was a Mataji, very sincere Vaishnavi, who was going through some extremely serious condition of life. And she was very, very, very miserable, right? And she didn't know what to do with her life. Details not to be discussed, but she didn't know what to do. She was just helpless. So she came to the temple of the Lord, Mauritius temple, and actually she stood in front of Srila Prabhupada with hands and she poured her heart out, right? And the devotees noticed that the deity started crying. Deity Prabhupada started crying. There are other episodes like this also. There is another episode in New Vrindavan. There's a complex history of New Vrindavan, but I will just take the relevant part. Vrindavan has a very up and down history. Prabhupada, as you know, there's a palace of gold there, right? You remember? You know? You don't know. You know? You know. Okay. So Prabhupada's disciples, they aspired that Prabhupada, he's traveling all over the world at such an old elderly age. We want him to stay in one place and since his designated role in this world was to write books, he said, Prabhupada, we want to make a nice place for you. You can just stay and write your books and manage the whole ISKCON society from here. So Prabhupada's disciples, untrained as they were like you and me. They were somebody was BCom, somebody was BSc, and most of the time they are in America, they were like dropouts, right? They had no degrees also. But because the sheer love of His divine grace, they were empowered to make a palace. They didn't know anything. They had no skills in their hands. They were not trained architecture, molding, technology. कुछ नहीं मालूम था उनको. They didn't know nothing. Tiling, woodwork, nothing. But just the desire to serve our beloved Gurudev. And they started making magical things. And then at one point, so the palace was made. Prabhupada left this world. This is a little later after Prabhupada left this world. And uh, some things happened in Newtown which were not as per his desire, which were like deviations. So then one Mataji came to take darshan. She was just a regular lady staying in West Virginia. She was not a Vaishnavi. And she came there and she was just looking at the whole palace of gold like everything else. And she came to friend of Prabhupada like this, and she heard a voice, "Take my shoes." She wondered, who's saying this? Again she heard, "Take my shoes." So she's felt that this person sitting on the altar is saying this, right? So actually to took Prabhupada's shoes and went home, right? So then things got reformed, things became better, right? After many years, she was told, "Bring back my shoes." She brought the shoes back, right? So it's a very serious story, actually, right? That for us, the deity of Prabhupada in the temple is Sakshat Prabhupada, right? He is dressed every day, right? He is worshipped every day. He's offered a garland every day. He's offered a glass of water every day, right? He's cleaned every day. His altar is cleaned every day. So he is treated just like a deity. Because on the absolute platform, there's no difference between the deity and the pure devotee's deity. On the absolute platform, they are Sakshad Samasta Shastra. So, in one sense, there is no difference between Prabhupada and the deity. I'm not talking about in the Mayavadi oneness. I'm talking about the Vaishnava oneness, where they are as worshipable as the deity. Right? And therefore, for us also to be conscious, therefore, before we even come in the temple, we never go to the deity directly first. Never, ever. For a normal person who just for Sunday feast, he just looks at Prabhupada and maybe acknowledge him or not acknowledge him. He may say, "Oh, main to idhar hai." So he may just come here and stand here, offer obeisances, offer prayers, offer something in the hundi. But for a regular Vaishnava like ourselves, we will offer obeisance to the devotees first at the entrance, because this place is sanctified by the Vaishnavas. The next person we offer obeisances with pranam mantra. This is divine grace. And only then we have the adhikar with his blessings to go to the deity. Right? So for us, in every way, all the Vaishnavas, we are always conscious of Prabhupada's direct presence in his deity form in the temple. Right? Therefore, he is given a very high, beautiful simhasana. He's not kept on a chair like a regular chair. We have spent money, a lot of money on making this altar, because for us, he is Prabhupada himself. Just like Krishna is one and can manifest in so many deity forms. He can manifest as Radha Madhava, Radha Shamasundara, Radha Giridhari, Radha Gopinath. So Prabhupada is one, but in every temple where his deity form is there, he is manifested. Just like Krishna. He is everywhere. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.